Anyway, yeah. So this is part two of the mobile development. Um, we did part one last Saturday. This is part two. Hopefully, we can do part three and conclude on mobile development. So after part three, hopefully, we can jump into data analysis. I had planned to start data analysis this month on 5th. But that didn't happen because we still had a few issues in this section to get through. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for coming. I have my tea here. So I have written a 3-part tutorial on DevOps. Pretty much any major software nowadays has some form of DevOps, let's say, tooling. So it's also very important to understand DevOps. It's a 3-part series. So let me see. So let me just search DevOps. Yeah, so I have part 1, part 2, part 3. Oh my goodness, this is supposed to be part 3, not part 2. So yeah, part 2 is on containerization. Part 3 is on Kubernetes. If you've ever heard of Kubernetes, there's another massive tutorial I'm working on. Something that helps you practice with Kubernetes locally. So what are all these things? What is DevOps in the first place? Remember in the previous session, we talked about load balancers, servers, and we said sometimes your server cannot handle 10,000 requests per minute. As well, if you want to deploy changes to your website, you need to do it in such a way that users might not even notice the downtime. I'm pretty sure once in a while you've noticed some changes on Facebook. Maybe the button has changed, maybe the comment button has been moved, but you would rarely notice. It's because they roll out their changes in a way that the users never notice because there's no downtime. So that is the power of DevOps or DevOps engineering or something similar. So you can go through this tutorial. It's in 3 parts. So this is part 1. You can go through part 2, part 3, and let me know when you have issues or if you get stuck. Hopefully we will also be able to cover DevOps at some point when we get the time and resources. So again, welcome. I know there is quite a lot you could have been doing. Some of you Collins Omondi, thank you very much. I know some of you would be outside right now celebrating after Arsenal won. In my entire lifetime, Arsenal has only won once or twice. Is it twice? Yeah, twice. Babe, isn't it? My wife is a huge Arsenal fan and she wants to. All right. So as we continue, if you're new or if you haven't had a chance to look at the platform called Soma Stories, it's a platform I built myself. Basically, what happens is, let's have a look at the statistics. So on Facebook, for example, if you write a story on Facebook, you'll need to have like millions of views for you to be able to earn something. So if I go to my profile, for example, and I look at my statistics, so right here I can see in the last 28 days I've had 1.7 million views. I've had 127,000 engagement. Pulling these numbers is not a joke, especially if you are producing educational content. Excuse me. Most people are just, posting, for lack of a better word, nonsense. But if you are posting only educational content, pulling such numbers is not easy. And as you can see in all these, Facebook is paying me this much money, which is okay, it's something, but it's still very little given these numbers. So that, and also the fact that Facebook is very unfair to Africans. If maybe somebody in USA, Australia, Canada gets 1 million views, they'll probably be paid twice what Facebook is paying me. So that's why I built this platform called Soma Stories. So what happens on Soma Stories, you write a story and you put a price on it. You put a price on it using what we call tokens. Okay. So this story, for example, if I just open it, I can see this story cost 3 tokens. So that means it will cost me 3 tokens to unlock this story and read. As you can see, I'm only seeing a small portion of it. Now, what are these tokens? These tokens are basically money you top up on the platform as a reader, and then it gets converted to tokens. So right now, for example, myself, I have 811 tokens. If I want to top up my tokens, I can just come to this wallet icon. I say I want to top up 50 shillings. I'll put my number. And then I'll say confirm top up. So the entire process is made that simple. It uses what you call M-Pesa STK. And as you can see, I already have the prompt on my phone telling me I want to pay 50 shillings to Soma Stories. So if I enter the PIN and accept the transaction, 50 shillings will be topped up to my Soma Stories account, and it will be converted to tokens, these tokens, which I can use to unlock more stories. So you would imagine if you want to read a story from something like Nation Media, I think Nation Media has a paywall, which is currently, I think it's 200 shillings. As you can see, to continue reading, please subscribe for full access. I think their subscription is around 300 shillings. So if you're reading an interesting story, it's 350 shillings. If as a student, you are reading maybe a tutorial like what I've just shown you guys, the tutorial on Kubernetes or containerization, and I ask you to pay 350 Kenya shillings for a week, that's a little bit extra, especially people who live hand to mouth, and also the economy is not just doing very well. But if you have 3 shillings, 5 shillings, you can top up 5 shillings and read a story. 5 shillings maybe, I know for most people 5 shillings is not as much as 350 Kenya shillings. So that's basically what the platform is. So the author earns from each read. You don't have to wait to get 1 million reads for you to earn something. No. 10 people read your story, you earn something. 2 people read your story, you earn something. And you get to price your story. So if you think your story is worth 10 shillings, when you're writing, you say, this story is worth 10 shillings. Like that. Yes, so that's basically what Soma Stories is. Go ahead, do check it out. I've shared a link to an article I wrote about DevOps Part 2. You can go ahead in the comment section, check it out. We have a mobile, an Android version, and an iOS version. Now, the purpose of this course was to help you get to a point where you can build your own Soma Stories platform. Please don't copy mine, just build yours. Anyway, yes, to understand what it takes to build such a platform, the architecture behind it and whatnot. So far we've covered the front end. We have covered the back end, building APIs with Fast API. And now we are covering mobile apps. Because in most cases, platforms like, for example, Gigi, if you shop at Carrefour, if you shop at Quickmart, they have a mobile app, they have a website, and they have, the backend infrastructure. Of course, the backend is not visible to users. So that is the purpose of this course. Now we are talking about mobile development. In the previous class, we looked at how to set up your laptop for mobile development, installing Android SDK, installing Android Studio, and doing all that configuration. So we will dive deeper in this course and see how that builds up on what we learned. So when you're building something, it's always important to start with the technology you want to use. So if you go right now to your browser and search mobile development frameworks, there's quite a few. Let me see something descriptive. So you have cross-platform frameworks. So what does a cross-platform framework means? Cross-platform framework means you can use it to build apps for any platform: Windows, macOS, Android, iPhone. So that means you will not have two code bases to manage. You only have one code base, and in that one code base, you can deploy to App Store, you can deploy to Play Store. All right, you can also build a website using the same source code, and we'll look at how that works in a second. So platforms that fall under that category, or frameworks that fall under that category, are Flutter and React Native. These are the most common ones. And then we have what we call native frameworks. So native frameworks are frameworks that can only build for one platform. So if you're working with Swift UI, Swift UI is a framework. You can only build applications for iPhone. If you're working with Kotlin multi-platform, you can only build, I think this is for iOS and Android. I don't know why they've put it under native platforms. Yeah, and so on and so forth. There are other options that can allow you to take a website and sort of create a wrapper so that the website is also a mobile app. Such platforms are like Ionic, for web developers going mobile, progressive web apps. Yeah, it's basically like a website, but it's wrapped sort of. So I know Cora is one of such apps. I can just say is Cora mobile app. Let me see. Okay, which tech stack powers Cora? Mobile. Okay, they're not giving me the information I need. Anyway, so why would you choose one framework over the other? Each framework has its own advantages. Personally, I have used Flutter, I have used React Native. Soma Stories itself is built with Flutter, the mobile app, both for iPhone and Android. They are built with Flutter. But I have used React Native for some of clients' work and at work extensively. So I think why I used React Native at work is because I had a team that is experienced with React, so it was very easy for them to pick up React Native. Why I used Flutter to develop Soma Stories, it's because I had learned Flutter a while ago, but not in depth. So I decided to use Flutter because I wanted to learn more about Flutter. I wanted to see if Flutter can actually be used to build, a production application. So the choice of using one framework over the other, I think each has its own advantages, but people have said Flutter works best for things like if you need things like location tracking, Flutter could be your friend, and so on and so forth. I think it has its own advantages, but more on that later. So first things first, let's build a mobile app. What mobile app are we going to build? Let's say, for example, we are going to build a barter trading mobile app where people can, open the app, they can specify what they have. So somebody can say, hey, I have beans, I have Fenesi, I want a motorbike. Okay. And somebody else can log in and say, hey, I have a motorbike, I want food. so they can transact. So let's say we want to build such an app. Again, if you are part of our I think UI UX class, we spoke about creating wireframes, creating the UI before you write any code. But for now, we are going to flip that process a little bit, so we can just jump from one step to another, not in a chronological order. So first things first, we want to go to the Flutter documentation. So in your browser, we're just going to say Flutter. Not animation, so you just want to say Flutter. And yeah, sure, AI can do these things for you even without you sweating, but it's very important you have some clue of what is happening. I could have just gone to Gemini and told it, hey, build a Flutter application, which I will do, but I also want you guys to have a feel of what goes on under the hood, or what the framework exactly is. They have a very detailed documentation of what it is. They also tell you some of, like it's fast, productive, flexible, and so on and so forth. Of course, some of these things is just marketing, but depends on your skills. So you can reach users on every screen. You can do it on the web, you can do it mobile, and all that. Yeah, seamless integration with Google services, like sign in with Google, location, Firebase Analytics, all that stuff. So you can also have a look at the companies using that framework. So here we can see Google is using Flutter, BMW is using Flutter, Toyota is using Flutter, all these companies. So we can also look at React Native, and we can also look at something called Kotlin. So Kotlin, and we can also look at Swift UI. So React Native, we can go to this. So if you have worked with React or Next.js, React Native will be easier for you because it uses sort of, as you can see here, it's just components. So it might be easier for you to try React Native. But I start with Flutter. Okay. So there's native development, they have some little bit of, and then here they show you the mobile apps that are using React Native. Quite surprisingly, there's quite a lot. Outlook, there's Discord. Oh, this is new. I didn't know. There's Bolt Food. If you've ever tried to order food on Bolt, they use React Native. Tesla. Which app is this? I have no idea which app this is. And many more. Yeah, so Facebook also uses React Native. The normal Facebook you're using on your phone right now, or after this tutorial, or before this session, uses React Native. Instagram uses React Native. Okay, I mean, it makes sense because React Native, React itself is, I think it's owned by Facebook or something. I don't know. Shopify, Wix. As you can see, there's quite a lot of apps using React Native. So we go to Kotlin. So we can look at Kotlin and look at the apps using Kotlin. Okay. So AWS mobile app, McDonald's uses Kotlin, Adobe, see all case studies. Bilibili, I don't know what that is. JetBrains, H&M, T-Mobile. Is this T-Mobile? I don't know. Bolt. Oh, Bolt uses Kotlin. Interesting. Meetup uses Kotlin. If you've ever, seen Meetup, Cash App. Yeah, there's quite a lot. Amazon, VMware, Netflix uses Kotlin. Now you know. Let me see. TouchLab. So which? Okay, let me see. Netflix for Android and iOS. Interesting. All right, so let's look at Swift UI and see which apps use Swift UI. Get to know Swift, write results, not instructions. Oh, interesting. Okay, declarative. You could have just said declarative. All right, let's see which apps uses Swift UI. Is it? Okay, so you've made it super hard for me to find. Which apps use Swift UI? KJ, how are you doing, sir? So let's see. Curated list of open source examples. No, I don't want open source. I want proprietary. That's where the cool stuff. Anyway, apps. My goodness, why are you making this hard? Anyway, I think if you want to develop Swift, if you want to develop apps using Swift, I don't think you will do that on Windows. I don't know. Apple has it's just it's crazy. All right, so anyway, there is something I need to advise you, and this is a debatable this is a highly debated topic, but the facts remain the same. If you want to develop apps for Apple, iPhone, macOS, you will need an Apple computer, either MacBook or iMac or whatever. Okay. Some people say that if you use React Native, they have this thing called Expo, which allows you to build for iPhone and then I think deploy or something. I can't remember. But after deploying Soma Stories on Apple, I can tell you for a fact, if you want to develop mobile apps for iPhone or MacBook or iPad, you will need a MacBook or an iMac, because there are certain things you need to connect your physical device to test. Something like push notification, something like, what did I do? Oh my goodness, I've just cancelled one of my to-do. Okay, I can't even remember what it was. Anyway, so there are things you need a physical device to test. So things like push notifications, things like location tracking. You need an iPhone, a physical device to test. That is just how Apple is. There's nothing we can do about it. But for experiments purposes, do give Expo, I think it's called Expo, a chance. For the free version, there is a number of times you can deploy, and they ask you to pay. Anyway, so for this tutorial, let's just try Flutter for now. Then we will try React Native. Then we will try Kotlin. I have never deployed or built any app using Kotlin. I have never. So this will be a good experience. Yes, so we have the Flutter documentation. Of course, some of what you want to do will be done by AI, adding features and whatnot. But the installation, we want to do it using the documentation. So I'll click on Get Started here. And first thing I want to do is I want to create a folder for our project. So inside, now which folder were we using? I can't even remember which folder we were using. Where? Self-taught computer science. All right. So here, let's create a folder called Butter, which is our Butter trading platform. So I will open this in VS Code. All right. So let me see everything is set up. Okay. So I will open this inside that, and I have my browser here. So let me just, yes, trust. Let me open my terminal at the bottom, like so. I hope we are moving together. If you have any questions, you can shoot your question in the chat, or you can text me on WhatsApp or on Discord. Either platform is fine. Let me see, my notifications are active. Yeah, okay. And if you are not able to reach me on WhatsApp, on Discord, or in the chats, please do give me a call. We don't want to leave anybody behind. Make sure you're moving with us. Don't be left behind. Give me a call. My phones are on. Anyway, yeah. So we is anybody okay? That's not a call. So we are on Windows. So what I've done is I've just clicked on Get Started, and this is where we are. So learn how to code using blah blah. So we are not going to set up Flutter because we did all that in the previous class. So what you want to do is just to create a sample application and get started. So I'll just scroll to the bottom and I can build for other platforms. So I'm looking for a tutorial. So let me see, learn fundamentals. Let me see this. No, I want to create an app. Oh my goodness, I have start learning bit. So Flutter uses a special language. Okay, it's not so special. It uses a language called Dart, and this is why I keep telling people the method I use to teach and to learn anything is very effective, because I never learned how to write Dart code until I had built an app using Flutter. That is when I had to go back and learn Dart code, and you'll see that in this session. Okay. So the format I use to learn anything complex is introduction, confusion, pattern identification, and mastery. It's just that simple. So first you get introduced. After you get introduced, you get confused. What is happening? What is that? What is Flutter? What is cross-platform? What is... I know Desmond right now is wondering, okay, now what is this cross-platform buddy is talking about? Desmond, don't worry. Hang in there. So after the confusion stage, we go to repetition. Repetition is now when we see repeating patterns, and that it strengthens our muscle memory. Okay, so after repetition, now we go to mastery, because we have understood how things flow and whatnot. All right, so we will skip that and we'll go straight to creating some Flutter projects. So let me see, which project am I? Okay, I think I clicked the wrong link. Create Flutter app. This is what I want. All right, so we're not going to create that app. So we want to create a new Flutter project. So we are going to use this command, but what you're going to do is Flutter. Let's confirm first Flutter is installed. Remember from our previous class we did this. So Flutter is installed. If you see this, that means Flutter is installed. So let's go ahead and create an app. So I'll say Flutter create. I'll just say Flutter create. Nothing. I'll not pass any arguments. And I can see these are the arguments we can pass. No option specified for the output. Directly create new Flutter project. So what if we say we want to create a Flutter project inside here where we are? And then it says creating Flutter project. As you can see, there's quite a lot of files created here. So once this is done, you can just run Flutter run. So you'll do Flutter run. And then once you do that, it tells you what device do you want to run Flutter on. As you can see, it's saying Windows, Chrome, Edge, and whatnot. So let's look at this option. So for now, we'll say we want to run it on Windows. We hit enter. And then it says building Windows application. I hope you guys can see clearly. If you can't, just let me know. I'll try to zoom in, but let me also do that so that you can have. So we have built a Windows application, and as you can see, it's a .exe file. Okay, so that is the power of Flutter. Okay, let me zoom in. Let me know if that is okay. So this is the power of Flutter. Even without having an Android device connected, even without having anything else set up, we are able to build a Windows application. Windows applications are like what you see in here, okay? And as a matter of fact, here is what I want to advise you. Everybody right now is building a POS, a school management system, an inventory management system. How about you build a desktop application that will help in productivity, especially in the corporate settings? Like this app right here called Notion. This is a very good app, especially for managing notes, tasks, and whatnot. But you have to pay like $20 every month. So what if you build a desktop application that works like Notion and you charge it even 200 shillings? Okay, 200 shillings. I don't know. Charge it however you want to charge it. The Ministry of Education in Kenya has also said that they will do away with papers, paper exams, okay? It's a good opportunity for anybody watching this to go out there and try to create a system that does exams, like for students, so that when the time comes, go and pitch it. It might work, it might not work. Who knows? There's a 50-50 chance, okay? So that's just an interesting thing to note. Anyway, so that is just one way we can run our Flutter. Now we will kill our terminal and run Flutter again, Flutter run. And then we want to choose a different, we want to say Chrome. So I will say number 2, and then I will hit enter. Let's see what happens. So remember, we've not touched our code. It is from that one source code that we were able to build a desktop application. And now we want to see if we can also build a website from that one source code. And as you can see, our website is working from that one source code. Of course, what you see here is the default program that Flutter comes with, which is normally a counter. So you can just do that, and then it increases the counter. So we have a website using Flutter. What else can we do with Flutter? Primarily we build mobile apps with Flutter. So let me kill my terminal. And then what I want to do is, number 1, I want to connect my physical device to the computer so that first I can test with my physical device. And somebody has stolen my cable here. I don't know who stole my cable. Give me a minute. All right, so what I want to do is I have a USB cable, and I just want to connect my Android device to the computer. So once I connect it, I hope you guys can see, I will go ahead and do Flutter run, right? Flutter run. So Flutter run, there we go. And as you can see, it's already detecting the phone that is connected to the computer. So I do not need, am I exposing my secrets here? No. I do not need to use an emulator because emulators are very heavy. Right now, let me see how my resources are doing. So memory is at 52%, CPU is at 45%. You will see what happens once I fire up the emulator. Takes quite a lot of resources. Mbai Kulubra, I don't get your question. So can Flutter build OS? Operating system? No, it cannot. We only build mobile apps with it. It cannot build an operating system. I think if you are ambitious enough, you can try to plug in some C#, some C there. I don't even know how that will work. Anyway, so as you can see, if you see green, that means everything is going on well. So as you can see, the app is now running on my physical device. So, and this is important to note, if your computer does not have enough resources, don't open Android Studio on your laptop. Use your physical device to test your app. As you can see, this app is fully functional and working okay on a physical device. All right. So how else can we test our app? We can also test our app using an Android emulator. And I wanted you guys to see this. You see my CPU is at 16%. Memory is at 52%. Now see what happens when I open Android Studio. So I'll say Android Studio. And then I'll go to Virtual Device Manager. I will open any device here. So let me open Pixel 10. And this is my emulator right here. So let me just close these ones. Oh my goodness, okay. This is weird. I was expecting something like 80, 70. Anyway, as you can see, the CPU has gone up almost by double. And it's because like this is a high-end CPU, so it doesn't struggle as much. But probably if you're using a laptop, you might run into issues. Now let's go ahead and run our mobile app. But now we want to, so if you have your physical device and the emulator all working at the same time, Flutter will ask you, where do you want to run your code? Do you want to run your code on the physical device, or do you want to run your code on the emulator? So this is the physical device. This is the emulator. So I want to say emulator. And we have that. So let's just give it a second. The app will be running right here. Oh my goodness, what happened? Lost connection to device. That's weird. Okay, let's try and run it again. Say emulator. All right, so it's running. Let's see why you are having issues. So guys, at this stage now, you can comfortably go and sit somewhere in a Java restaurant or Chicken Inn, open your laptop, fire up your emulator, start writing some code. Beautiful scenes. Yes, so oh my goodness, what is wrong with this emulator? I do not know what is wrong with this emulator. Let me try a different one. I don't know why it keeps crashing. So let me open Android Studio again. We want to open, let's try Pixel 2. This is relatively small, so shouldn't have any issues. All right. If you have a powerful computer, you can also try and run two simulators at the same time. So you would imagine if you are building an app for sellers and buyers and you're testing it, you might need to have this one as a buyer and this one as a seller, or if you have something like Uber where you have the driver and the passenger, you can have one as the passenger and the other one as the driver. Yeah, of course, quite heavy. So let me just disconnect my physical device because maybe that is interfering with the emulator. I don't know why this is happening. Anyway, so I will do Flutter run. And again, it will ask me which device do you want to run your. I'm not even sure which one this is. So let me try one. Thank you. Yeah, sure. No, this is enough. It's enough light. All right, so we will see if it's also crashing on this one right here. So let's see. So this is the default Flutter app, which we don't want. We want to build something like a barter trading app. So we might want to list something here, something like whatever. So of course we are going to now move all this to, you know, maybe Cloud Code or Gemini CLI. But first, let's just try to understand which files will be affected. Oh no, which files will edit. So in Flutter, most of the code is in okay, we'll do this later. All right, so where was I? So in Flutter, most of the code, your source code, mainly resides inside this folder called lib. And as you can see inside lib, we already have this file called main.dat. Dat means it's the Dart programming language. So if you look inside that, there's quite a lot going on here, but we have these things, these classes. Should be good. So most of your code will reside inside lib, and right now Flutter has given us this folder called main.dat. So we want to figure out how we can change this so that we don't have the default Flutter code. One of my emulators is not working. I do not know why. I do not know why this emulator is not working. Anyway, what I can do is I can try to cold boot it. So I'll go to Android Studio. So let me just close it first, and then I'll go to, which one was it? It was 10. So let me say cold boot. So if your emulator is misbehaving, you can try to cold boot it like I've done, and then you'll give it some time, see what happens. Yeah, anyway, so inside main.dat, so let's delete the comments and try to see if we can figure out what this code does. So we'll delete everything. Inside the comment blocks, there seems to be quite a lot. There seems to be quite a lot. Delete that. Also delete all of that. All right, so we do not have any there's okay. All right, so basically what's happening here is we start with the main class, which we initialize it with my app name, and then we have the material app, we have the Flutter demo. I think this is the name of our application. We have the color scheme, which is, I think, this kind of purple. So we can try to play around with it, see what happens. Let me try a different, so let me try that green. So if you change something in your code, you have to refresh. So what I'll do is close. I don't know why this app is misbehaving. So I'll press R. Okay, it's throwing a bunch of errors. Why? So let me just do Control Z and see what's up. Oh yeah, this is a variable, so you can't just change it. So let's just keep it as it is. And then here we have the home object, which is basically what is shown in the app bar. So here we are going to change the name and say butter app. So again, we'll press R, and once you press R, it will do what we call hot reload. Try again after fixing the errors. What errors are you talking about? I thought I fixed all errors. So let me let me just kill it and run it again. So let me try number 2. So which device are you using now? All right, we are using this. So let's see. Hoping it won't crash as it did. All right, so that has updated. Now we have butter up at the top here. So let's see, what else can we do? We can do away with all this floating button thingy. So we have this at the bottom, tooltip increment. I don't even know what that does, so we'll just do away with all that. So inside our app, we have the app bar, and then we have this thing called body, which has center item. It has columns. You have pushed the button this many times, which is basically this. All right. So we can do away with this column or the contents of this column, and then we can do away with this method. I think this is a method, if I'm not wrong. All right. Background color, we are using that. Okay. We can also do away with this. We don't need it. So let me see, what are we left with? Let's try and reload, hoping no errors. Okay, everything is gone, so that's fine. Now inside the body child here, this is where we can put our content. Okay, so what we can do is we can just go to ChatGPT and try and get something we can display. So write a card in Flutter. Okay, it's actually a card widget, but so let me see. We are returning a card. So inside the column, card widget, let me see. Can you return inside the child element? I do not know. But what you can do is, you see this child, instead of a column, you want to replace it with a padding. So I don't even know where this ends. I believe it's there. So instead of this child, we want to replace it with padding. Yeah, I figured as much. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Okay, I think this child is up to that point. So let's see again. So I want to do that. What is it I'm not doing right? My goodness. Under normal circumstances, you'll just go through this code line by line, but I'm too lazy. AI has made me twice as lazy. So all right. Okay, so there is our card. Yeah, but looks ugly. It's kind of just Flutter card. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So we have this. Yeah. So as we put in more features, we can try and have a look at the code and see what's happening, how the code is flowing, and we will do that in a second. But for now, I just wanted you to understand that the main code will be inside the lib folder. You can read a few tutorials on how to structure your Flutter code, but for now we want to just go ahead and open Gemini. You want to go ahead and open Gemini CLI. Again, if anybody is telling you to write your code by hand without using AI, they're lying to you. Yeah, that's simple. Right, so in this Flutter app, we want to create a barter trading platform. Go ahead and create sample screens, including the navbar. Okay, if you add for me, it will take the AI agent more tokens to understand what for me means. You know, like when I do for me, it takes more tokens. So let's not do that. Let's also not do go ahead and, that's more tokens, which you don't want to waste. We want to save the planet as we destroy it. So we want to be very declarative. Want to create a barter trading platform. So we also don't want to say we want to. We just want to be very declarative. So we want to say create a barter trading platform. Create sample screens, including the navbar. You know, we want to talk like a robot because Gemini is also a robot. So we'll hit enter. This is going to take a while. So if you have any questions, do ask them as we wait. So okay, yeah, can you just go ahead and do your thing? I don't care. As that is happening, I want to take you guys again through. Okay, we want bottom navigation. Yeah, I want to take you guys through the Soma Stories source code, so that you also have, you know, an understanding of how the code is structured. So let me just open a new window here. I need to look for Soma Stories. I primarily write Soma Stories code on my MacBook, so I'm not even sure whether it's here. Oh, it's here, Soma Mobile Client. What do you mean? Okay, so let me just look for it manually. At least maybe by the end of this course, you guys can go ahead and apply it, you know, at Safaricom. Hoping maybe your uncle, your cousin, your nephew, your aunt works there. Also, I had. Anyway, yeah. So this is the source code for Soma Mobile Client. That mobile app, that Soma Story, that story app you're using on your phone. This is the code that powers story app from Soma Stories. So most of the coding works inside the lib folder, and inside the lib folder I have the core folder and I have the features folder. So features is more like the screens. So you have the login page, you have notifications, you have the landing page, and so on and so forth. The core folder keeps reusable code. So if I have a piece of environment variables that I want to plug in, this is where I specify. If I have things like models, services, and whatnot, this is where all that is done. So it's basically, the core basically contains reusable pieces of code. So we have the logger here, we have the phone utils, text sanitizer. Of course, we have to sanitize whatever it is you guys are uploading to the platform. Some of you are not very good people, I know. Anyway, just kidding. So inside the features, for example, we can look at something like the login page, which is right here. Now, the login page is divided into two parts. Now, remember I told you guys when you are starting, everything to do with software engineering is storing data, manipulating data, presenting data. So on this app, I have separated the data layer and the view layer, whatever you see on the screen. Let's see if Gemini is doing its thing. Oh, it's done. Interesting. Okay. So this login page has the data layer, which basically handles the data that you want. So for example, is password visible? False. By default, it's false until you turn it on. Is Google sign-in loading? False. Of course, you don't want to start the app, you know, while the Google sign-in is loading, and so on and so forth. I know you guys will try and get this. So inside the views, we now have the presentation where everything happens. So you have something like welcome back. If you've tried downloading the app and logging in, you saw something like this. And then we also have sign in to continue to your account. We have enter the email address, enter your email address as the placeholder, enter the password. Once you're done with entering your email and password, we want to okay, do you want the platform to remember you so that when you reinstall, you know, you don't have to enter the credentials. And then once you're done, you can click sign in. So this is the login page. This is the code that powers the login page, and that is just a brief overview of the story app. So Gemini has done its thing. Let's just go back and try to run it again. Application restarted. Is it restarted? Okay, I don't even know what's happening. Was that an outline? Oh, that. Okay, proceed. So that was actually an outline. Yes, automatically accept edits. We don't care. It's a new project. We can just nuke it and start all over again. Yeah, you know, we thank God for AI because now we can let it do its thing as we browse through TikTok, Twitter. I'm on Twitter, by the way. You can go ahead and follow me there. Just search Moses Mbadi on Twitter or X. I have successfully implemented the barter trading platform prototype. Platform is now ready for you to run and explore. If I get into any errors, I'll just cancel this entire thing and try it again some other day. Anyway, I want to run it on device 1, so I don't even know what device that is. All right, let's see. It's crashing. I do not know why. So let me try and run it on number 2. Yeah, and we have a barter trading platform working. Of course, there's no backend, but we can navigate, we can explore, we can see categories that we can choose from, electronics, we can add an item if we have one, we can see our trade proposal for camera, history, active camera, we can see profile. Yeah, so this is basically it. You can look at the code Gemini generated, but as you can see, we have the models. Again, Gemini separated the data layer from the view layer. So we have the barter items.dat. So this basically contains a list of items. So we have this, we have all these things. So in a normal production application, all this is gotten from the backend, from an API. You don't hard code it. Then we have the screens. So the screens, for example, we have the main screen, which is this one right here, the home, I'm guessing. So the home screen, it has home screen, explore, add items, thread screen, profile screen, and we have the navigation here. So we have the home, which is the home right here. We have explore, which is this, and once you click them, it redirects to where bottom navigation bar item. Bottom navigation bar. Yeah, I think it's sort of just changes the index, I think. Yeah. And then we have the profile screen, which is right here. John Doe. If you want to change the name from John Doe, you can just come here, say Jane Doe, or something similar. Yeah, so that's basically it. In the next class, we will look at how to integrate a backend into our mobile app, so that instead of hard coding these values inside here, we can get all these values from the backend. We can also look at sign in, sign ups, registration, authentication, all that stuff in the next class. We will use Fast API and Flutter. I do encourage you to share this course with your friends, your colleagues, your schoolmates. The next session will be heavy. We probably will go past 2 hours because we'll be looking at authentication and how to plug it into Flutter code. Yeah, so I do have a question, but I tried checking for errors in my code using AI, but they kept summing up until I destroyed it. Yeah, welcome. That happens a lot. With AI, you have to be a little bit strict. As you can see, I only gave Gemini one command and it gave me everything I needed. So you have to be very careful with your command. And again, it can't give you something that looks like production ready. As you can see, this is nothing. If you deploy this to the market, people will think that you're a joke. Look at this. This is ugly. Okay? Look at this. This is ugly. You cannot deploy this to the market. However, it has given you something to work on. You and somebody who is building from scratch are miles apart. Somebody building from scratch right now, maybe they will be trying to figure out how to position these things here. Okay? Maybe they will be in here trying to see what goes where, but you've already done that. However, this is not what we should be building. Okay? We should be making our platforms better, more beautiful, and all that. So you can actually get motivation from sites like Dribble, from sites like Behance. All right, you can get motivations from this site. So if you look at something like this, all right, you might decide to put frequently bought items here. Okay. What is this app? Modern content discovery social blog mobile app. Maybe I might copy a few things from this one. It looks good. Anyway, you can also use Dribble, looking at some things like this, things like that, things like these, so that once you deliver something, it has to show some level of professionalism. It has to show some level of hard work. You know, somebody has to see it and say, this person sat down and worked on this thing. All right. Yeah. I think as we go on, we might have to shift to the MacBook so that we can also see how we can run the same app on a MacBook or for iPhone, and all that. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff coming ahead. I think that's it. We'll see you guys when I see you. Do follow me on Twitter, Facebook. I'm mostly active on Facebook and Instagram. It's TikTok is very Twitter is very toxic. So do follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter if you are there. If you have any questions, shoot me on WhatsApp, or just DM on the platforms mentioned. I think that's it. I'll see you guys in the next session. Goodbye.